Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about this Palmetto PX-9 rifle. Basically this is a 9mm AR style rifle, and I'll tell you guys I love it. I've had it for about 3 weeks. I've got about 1,000 rounds on it, and it's a great gun. The reason why I bought this is because I needed an AR style rifle that would take Glock magazines. Okay, and the reason is a lot of times I'm training new shooters at different rangers on their properties, whatever, and you know, a lot of shooters are kind of fixated on the idea that, you know, this is overkill. That home defense should be done with a pistol. That using a big black scary rifle, you know, is just, you know, scary. So what I will typically do is, you know, since their mind is kind of fixated on that, I'll have them shoot the pistol, and then what I'll do is I'll just pull out the magazine, I'll hot swap it into this, and I'll tell them, you know, fire a couple of rounds down range, and they will see that they are much better with a rifle versus a pistol. All right, and then I can, you know, so basically it's how I get my foot in the door, how I break it open and get them into rifles for home defense. Because, you know, even when I was becoming an instructor some 12 years ago, back then, you know, using something like this for home defense was considered overkill. Okay, you know, even amongst instructors back then. Although nowadays, it's commonly accepted that the rifle is your primary gun and the pistol is your backup gun. So that's the reason why I bought it. I wanted an AR style rifle that would use Glock magazines, and let me tell you, this gun has turned me into a rail snob. Okay, I love the rail that came on this. In the past, I never really cared too much about rails. It's just, you know, it was just a place to hold the gun. It was a place to mount things I needed to mount, you know, like lights and whatever. But I really liked the way this rail looked. It's like really skeletonized, and that made me get this skeletonized riser. And what, you know, I really liked the stripped down look, so I ended up getting this Holosun 507C red dot. This is a red dot that's intended for a pistol, and I've been loving this red dot so much that I bought 2 more of these. Okay, you know, one is intending to go on the next PX-9 that I'm going to buy. I want to get a 10-inch version of this. So that tells you what I think of this rifle, how great I think it is. So I bought one to go on the next PX-9 that I buy. That's going to be a 10-inch pistol version, and I'm also planning to buy the PSA 9, which is a Glock clone pistol that Palmetto's supposed to release. So as soon as they release that, I'm going to buy that and throw one of these red dots on that. So I really like this red dot. It's a you know, it's a circle dot. It's got a dot. It gives you 3 options. You can have a dot only, dot, and a 32 MOA circle, or 32 MOA circle only. Okay, and that's how I've been shooting this gun. I've been shooting this gun with the 32 MOA circle, mostly because I wanted to, you know, to see how I would like it. I wanted to see how, you know, people that I train, you know, how well they're able to use it, you know, and I'm seeing that it's working out really good for them at close distances, like at 30 yards where those rims are down there. The nice thing is you're able to put the circle on the target, and the circle is basically about the size of a head, right? So 32 MOA circle at 30 yards is about 4 inches big. Okay, so that's about head size. So if you're putting it on somebody, if you want a headshot, you just put it around the face, and that's exactly where the bullet's going to go. Or if you're putting it here, you know, so it's really easy to use at close range. You know, without the dot actually being in your way. But the circle isn't that big that it's like on the edges. It's like right where you need it. Now, at longer distances, I've been shooting this at 200 yards. At 200 yards, the bottom of that circle is my anchor point. And over here, I have a group that I shot today at 200 yards. And what I do is I take the you know, when I got that 32 MOA circle, I put the bottom of the circle here, right, so that the center is like up here somewhere. Okay, and that allows me to get a nice group. I've been averaging about 8 inches at 200 yards, so that's about 4 MOA. And this is my best group over here. I've got, tape out. Okay, I've got a total group of 7.5 inches, right, from here to there. First 2 shots, 7.5 inches, and then I got a 5-inch cluster over here. actually 5.5-inch cluster, right? Yeah, 5.5-inch cluster. So so this rifle has the potential to be a 2.5 to 3 MOA rifle, if or even 2 MOA if you find the right ammunition for it. I was using federal aluminum. Okay, I have found, as far as target ammo goes, as far as cheap bulk ammo, I'm able to get really good accuracy with that. But if you find, if you use different ammo in the experiment, you're probably going to get some nice grouping. So anyway, I'm coming in at a minimum of 8 inches, approaching 5.5 inches. Okay, so yeah, that's at 200 yards. So you're looking at 3 MOA to 4 MOA. Really happy with the accuracy of this rifle. Put this down for a minute. The one thing, if you're going to use this red dot here, this 507C, it's a 1 MOA adjustment. Okay, so just to give you an example, here's an earlier group I was shooting. Okay, I was trying to get a 0, and what happened is the first group I shot was like all the way over here, right? Right, and then what I did is I said, okay, let me adjust 3 clicks to the left. So 3 clicks to the left brought me like all the way to the other side of paper, okay? Because at 100 yards, 1 click will move you 1 inch. So at 200 yards, it's double. So I did 3 clicks. At 200 yards, it brought me all the way to the other side, and then I had to come back 2 clicks, and that centered me. And I got an 8-inch group over here. So that's the one kind of like negative thing about using this. If you're going to use this 507C, this pistol red dot on this rifle, is that you get a 1 MOA adjustment. So if you need to make you're not going to be able to make the fine adjustments. However, at 200 yards, I can get center. Okay, so it works. I'm happy with it. It's it gives me what I want. It's light. It's solar powered. Yeah, and like I said, I'm just loving it. What I did with this is I got a rail on the bottom here. The reason why I put the rail on the bottom is because sometimes I shoot this with a bipod. Other thing is, as far as a light, okay, I didn't want to put a rail on the side because I don't want to have a rail for a bipod, rail for a light. What I wanted to do was just put as little stuff on this as possible. So as far as the light, I can even put I want to use a pistol light on this, okay? So I'm even going to put a pistol light on the bottom, right? And I can flip, I have the stream light that has that paddle. So I can work the paddle with my thumb. I'll do it on the side so you can see I can work the paddle with my thumb. Or I can put it on top over here and again work it with my thumb over there. When I shoot, when I put the pistol light on an AR-15, shooting 5.56, what I find is that sometimes the light reflects back on the smoke. With the 9mm, I haven't really shot it enough at night to know if that's going to be an issue. So if I find that having the light up here on top is a problem, I'm just going to go straight to the bottom over here. And like I said, this doubles. This actually can serve 3 purposes. Number 1, I can mount the bipod on here. Number 2, I can mount the light over here and work it from the bottom. And number 3, it's a good anchoring point. Okay, so it's a good place for me to grab, to grab this without having to put like an angled grip or add extra weight over here. As far as weight, this comes in at with all the stuff I have on it right now, with the flip-up sights and the swivel, it comes in at 7 pounds 4 ounces. It's actually a little bit heavier than the AR-15, and this has about the same stuff on it. It's actually got a bigger red dot on it, bigger flip-up sights, bigger swivels, and this is actually coming in 4 ounces lighter. And the reason for that is because of the bolt. That has a very heavy bolt in there. Let me open it up and show you guys. Okay, so this is a straight blowback. This doesn't turn, right? It doesn't turn like an AR-15 to lock it in place. When you fire this comes straight back. So the weight, right? You need a heavy bolt to act as a basically to slow it down, because you need the bullet to exit the barrel before the bolt starts moving back. Okay, so that's why you actually got a weight in the bolt. The bolt is weighted, and you've got the roll pin that goes through it over here to hold that weight in place. So this is pretty heavy, and this doesn't have, because on an AR-15 you have your bolt there's the bolt carrier group, right? On an AR-15 you've got the bolt that's in there that turns and comes out. You get the cam pin that holds it. This doesn't have any of that. This is a solid piece. So this is the actual bolt. It's not a bolt carrier. It's an actual bolt The firing pin is in the inside over here, and it's held by the cotter pin over here, right? And that's it. There's no, it doesn't come apart. And because of that, this is a really strong design. I mean, if you look at the extractor over here, this extractor is actually a lot thicker than what's in my Glock. It's way thicker than this is an extractor off of an AR-15. So the extractor on this PX-9 is a lot thicker. It's going to probably do a lot more miles. This AR-15 here, this Radical, has about 20,000 rounds on it. About every 10,000 rounds, I usually break an extractor. Okay, so I broke one at the first 10,000 rounds. I broke one recently at the 20,000 rounds. On both occasions, yeah, the gun was really hot. I was going through multiple magazines, so so all that heat stress added up. But yeah, so every 10,000 rounds, I'm usually changing an extractor, which who cares if extractors are cheap. That's why you gotta have a lot of extra parts. AR-15s are not meant to be, heavy-duty guns. They're meant to be light guns where you can have the extra parts, and change it. I mean, I've been through two trigger groups on this gun. Okay, I have to change the trigger group twice. And if you think about it, the sears, right? When you pull the trigger, the sears, I mean, there's a really thin piece of metal there, and as as the trigger's going back and forth, catching on those edges, it's going to wear. And what happens is as it wears, at some point it won't release. The disconnector won't release, and I usually I have to, like I'm pulling the trigger, nothing's happening. I usually have to flip it onto safe and off to get it to release. That's when I know I got to change the trigger group. So yeah, you're gonna go through, if you're doing as much shooting as I do, you're gonna need a fresh trigger group like every 10,000 rounds or so. So anyway, going back to this PX-9, and I believe that has an AR trigger group. So again, it's probably gonna do the same thing every 10,000 rounds. I'll probably have to change the trigger group. But the bolt is really heavy. I don't think I'm gonna have to change. I'm probably gonna get another bolt anyway. But this bolt is going to do lots of miles. It's just a heavy piece of metal, and it has to be because it's a blowback system. So it depends on that mass, right? Because basically the bullet goes out the barrel. You need enough weight back here so that the bullet has a chance to leave the barrel before this starts moving back, because it doesn't lock like an actual AR-15 does. Now, if you buy this, there's a roll pin over here, okay, that holds the weight in place. And what I noticed on this when I first got it is that the roll pin had not been pushed through all the way. It was sticking out a little bit, and that's something that can rub on the inside of your upper. So that's basically, you want to inspect this. Make sure that roll pin is all the way in. Okay. Now, interesting enough, the key, there's no key here, right? That's just basically a guide. That's not staked, because the reason is it's because this doesn't take any stress. It's not like a gas key on an actual AR-15, so that's not staked. One of the things that you want to be aware of, put this in. One of the things that you want to be aware of is if that's your magazine, right, when it goes in, right, there's a little thing over here, right, that's what stops the magazine, okay, and if you can notice, it basically just hits that back corner of your magazine. So if you're using these ETS magazine, if you're slamming it in hard, you're taking all that stress on that corner right there, and yeah, over time that's going to wear the magazine, so you don't need to be slamming this in. That's why when I want to load this, what I will usually do is I will lock this back. Okay, I'll lock it back this way I can put my magazine in nice and comfortably, and then I'll hit the bolt release. This does not lock back on the last round. Now, if you go to Palmetto's site, they say that the reason why they don't make this with a last round or bolt hold open is because it makes the gun either really expensive or really unreliable. And when I first read that, I'm like, sounds like bullshit, whatever. But then I went to somebody's property. I was training them on a Stag AR-9. So basically a gun like an AR-9 by Stag Arms, which did have last round bolt hold open. The guy just bought the gun. First day I'm training him on it, and what do you think happened? That broke. bolt catch system broke, and it's been 6 weeks and he's still waiting for parts on that. So yeah, I guess Palmetto wasn't lying. It does create an additional level of complexity when you try to put a last round bolt hold open on an AR9. Okay. Other thing I wanted to mention: if you're using these ETS magazines, right? When you put the magazine in, okay, when the with the ETS, when the bolt goes in, right, it does, as it goes forward on that last, after you fire that last round, it does kind of hit the back of the follower here. Okay, it hits it. If you're using a KCI magazine, it doesn't. For whatever reason, the follower is set a little bit lower, so it does not hit it. This does hit it a little bit here, and I can see that it's shaved it down. And I have a lot of these ETS magazines. I probably have at least 20 of them at this point. On 2 of them, it actually broke the follower because it caught it enough to slam it and break it. ETS, mailed me the replacements. Okay, so this is one of the replacements that they sent me. You can see how the follower is supposed to look, and you can see how this one got smashed. You see how the front here is missing. So that's just something to be aware of. And like I said, I have 20 of these. It only happened to 2 of them, and it happened like the very first time I was, I shot it with those magazines. So if you shoot your ETS magazines and it doesn't immediately break, it'll be fine. But something to just be aware of. On the ETS magazine, as the bolt goes forward, it does hit the top of that follower. Okay? Now, so one of the things I want to talk about is, why would you want this rifle? Why would you want this Palmetto PX-9? Well, first thing I said is it's convenient to have a rifle that takes your Glock magazines. Okay. Now, would you want to use this for home defense? Okay. A lot of time, one of the things that people will usually bring up is that the gun has less recoil, and I've tested this side by side with my AR-15, and this one over here is way over gassed, and I can tell you that the recoil on this is just a little bit less than what I get on an AR-15. So it's up there. It's like a lot of people think that this will be closer to a 22 in recoil, and no, that's not the case. It's closer to an AR-15 in recoil. Okay. So that's not the reason. Now, one of the things to be aware of is, like, when people ask me, like should I go AR-15 or should I go, AR-9? I will always say go AR-15 because it's mil spec. It's been tested under a lot of different conditions. This has not been tested as much. Okay, and just to give you an example, like first of all, like if I put this, here's a loaded mag. If I put this in, right? Okay, if I do a press check on this, right? I want to do, first let me put it around the chamber, right? If I do a press check where I bring it back, all right, if you come back too far, just because the rounds are shorter, right, you're gonna kick it out, and then all of a sudden I just jammed up the gun. Okay, so this is not a gun that you can do a press check with. This is a gun where basically you load, get around the chamber, get your safety on, and don't mess with the gun. Don't start doing press checks and stuff like that. So again, that's just an example of, there you go. I just dumped the round in there. So usually with AR-15, when I pull it back, when I pull the charging handle back, the round goes flying. Okay. With this, it doesn't go flying as far. And what just happened is when I tried to eject it, it ended up going back into the ejection port. So that's a that's just something to be aware of. That's a reason why you may not want to use this. You may want to actually use an AR-15 because the rounds are shorter. There is the chance of, under certain circumstances, doing certain things, you can jam up the gun. Now, why would you want to use it? Well, one of the things that I have found is the sound. I have shot AR-15s, shooting 5.56 with suppressors on them. Okay, and of course, because the bullet is going faster than the speed of sound, it's still loud. Okay. What I have found is what it seems to me, right, if you have an AR-15 with a suppressor, it's going to sound kind of like what this 9mm rifle looks at. It's kind of like right at the edge where if you're shooting outdoors, yeah, it's uncomfortable to shoot without, I mean, you can shoot it without earmuffs. It's uncomfortable, but it's not going to, like, pop your ears the same way, as like an AR-15 would. Okay, so sound is one of the reasons why why somebody, not me, but why somebody may choose to use a this Palmetto PX-9 for home defense. Let me fire a couple of rounds so you guys can see what it sounds like. All right. Let me do this. I've never actually done this. Let me see how this is throughout the ears. Okay, that's not bad. I'm not, I'm sure if I was indoors, it would, the sound would echo back on me, and it would, it would be very painful. But out here, without the earmuffs on, that's not bad at all. So that is, again, no last round hold open. So, you gotta check it to see if you got anything in there. So sound is a reason. Sound is a reason why you may want to buy this gun, or if you, for example, if you live in an area where you can shoot on your property, but maybe you don't want to annoy your neighbors too much. This might be a good option. This is kind of like, the sound-wise, this is kind of like a 22 sound-wise. Not exactly there, but kind of like a 22. Recoil-wise, it's closer to the AR-15 as far as recoil. But other thing I want to mention, that the gun does get dirty. I mean, I shot this. I got 1,000 rounds on it. I cleaned it at around 500 rounds because I just wanted to take a look inside it and see what was going on. And it was filthy. And now, I opened it up another 500 rounds later, and it's just, you can see my hands. I mean, it gets really filthy. But overall, I think it's a great gun. I plan on getting, this is obviously, there's a rifle, a 16-inch barrel. I plan on buying a 10-inch version of this, an AR pistol, a PX-9 pistol, right, with a 10-inch barrel and the SIG brace. As soon as Palmetto makes some, because right now their website's like all sold out. Can't find anything on their website because of the whole coronavirus and riots, panic buying. But as soon as it becomes available, I plan to buy a 10-inch version of this gun. So that kind of tells you how much I really like it. Okay, and I think that's everything I have for you guys. One thing I'll mention is I got these flip-up sights. I wanted really light flip-up sights. I didn't want to put the heavy duty ones. I found these on eBay. They were like $10. I mean, I wish if I see like more expensive ones that are the same size and the same style, I'll happily pay more for them. But this is what I want my sights to look like on it. I have them. Notice I have it back here. It's really nice because they give you a rail section here, and then this is all M-lock over here. So they didn't want to make the whole thing Picatinny rail to try and save some weight over here. So I have it back. I have the flip-up sight back here. This way I can mount the light up here if I want to put the light up there. So that's the reason why I have it set up like this. I have tested it out. I want to shoot it a little bit more before I talk about it. My main concern is I want to see if the light is reflecting back off of the smoke. When I did it with the AR-15, I saw that there was some reflection. I wanted to see with the 9mm, get a better sense of how much reflection I'm getting off it. But the other thing is I can always stick it on the bottom here and work it with my thumb. Okay. But I'm loving this gun. It's accurate. I'm getting, like I said, about somewhere between 3 to 4 MOA. It's working great with these ETS magazines. Great. Yeah. I mean, I paid $620 with shipping and taxes. It came out to $680. Really happy with it. If you guys have any comments, put in the comment section. If you're not a member of my channel, please subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.